Alright, we are live.
Yep.
Alright.
Howdy everybody. Welcome to the Sound Goblin Tuesday night stream for this week. Tonight we're going to be playing through some Momodora Reverie under the Moonlight, the fourth in a series of sort of Metroidvania-likes. They're not quite traditional Metroidvanias, but they're still pretty similar to that. This one, I think, despite being the fourth, is technically like the first chronologically. It's the
prequel, effectively.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Anyways, as always, I'm Bograt or Josh.
I'm Vincent, and I will be playing the game this evening.
I'm Dan, also known as the Krampus.
And Mackie or Shiv is not with us tonight. He's not feeling too well, so we are flying without him tonight. With that said, take 1 second here to set one thing up real quick. And we are going to get started.
Alright.
Okay, so the first thing I have to ask.
Uh-huh.
This looks really Cave Story-ish. Is it related in any way to Cave Story?
Not
Not in
Not
any significant way.
Okay.
the first game in the series. It's our test play, so let's go ahead and delete it. For cleanliness purposes. The first game in the series is kind of described as a Cave Story-esque type game, but it's gone more Metroidvania since then, as
Okay,
far
so
as...
it's not the same company or...
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
And by company, you mean the dude that made Cave Story.
yeah.
Okay, yes. Company of one.
Now, Bomb Service, as far as I can tell, is 3 to 4 people, and probably from Brazil. Getting information on these people is actually fairly hard.
Yeah, there's not a lot of details out there about the people that make Momodora.
I mean, they have a Patreon for the next game that they're making, which actually looks pretty good, but...
Yeah, I mean, that's really about it, though. Like,
Yeah.
there's not actually a whole lot out there on them. I think they are Brazilian. I think you're correct. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But
As far as I could tell from surfing around the internet for a decent amount, I could track down some rumors here, say, in their own website, and that was about it. Where it's like, here's our team, we are all using handles. So as you can see, you can control this game with a keyboard if you're...
masochistic.
Masochistic, or one of those people who, I don't know, play Commander Keen forever. So the default recommended controller, which is actually pretty solid, it just doesn't look like it because of the range attack on the right bumper, but that's actually better than it looks initially. And as the alternate controller, in case you don't believe me. But the default controls I actually highly recommend. So the game doesn't actually play any different with the difficulties. Easy just has a larger health bar and comes with 2 items that are reasonably useful for someone who, as the difficulty says, isn't used to playing video games, especially Metroidvanias. Normally you don't get those items, but you have a reasonable size health bar. Hard has a smaller health bar. After you beat the game, you get Insane mode, where you start with 1 hit point. We haven't beat the game on this file, and I really don't feel like playing through Insane mode anyways.
Yeah. That being said, this is a game where, so strictly speaking, there's not much changed by the difficulty all told. The major reason to play on hard mode, in addition to just having a harder challenge, is so every boss in the game has a special drop if you perfect them. And if you have a smaller health bar, i.e. hard or insane difficulty, it means that you have less time to kill if you take a hit and want to reset the fight, basically.
Which can be helpful in some situations. But yes, as you can see, that's the main character, Kaho, and her main melee weapon, a leaf.
Hey, smoke weed every day.
She's Canadian.
Yeah, sure. Give me a second to mod the game files and swap red to green.
You don't have to mod the game files for that. Right. So first things first, we're going to go over here to give that guy the opportunity to leave, for no other reason whatsoever. Well, map completion, I guess. Yeah. 0.1 or 1%. There we go. 99 to go. So this is the tutorial area, and which is why it's telling me how to move and jump, but not the fact I can double jump. Mind you, all our controls are actually unlocked still, or are unlocked, so I can use all of them. It's just telling you them. That's why I'm shooting this thing with arrows. And then we're going to go down here. And leaf open this chest. That is the only way to open chests, by the way. Is beat them to death.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Ah, crap. There we go.
You never heard of key leaves before?
Ah. So these little things are the money of the game. They're useful until they aren't.
They are shinies.
Go.
Exactly. Bellflower.
Your Estus flask.
Effectively. So there's two types of items in this game, active and passive items. Active items come back completely whenever you get to a save point. As you can see, that is less useful than an Estus Flask if that was actually possible.
Always remember, kids, eat everything you find in the forest.
Here, it wants me to use range attacks on these things that are clearly easier to kill without range attacks. It's also talking about the charge mechanic, which is why being on a shoulder button is nice. It actually lets you still hit all the other buttons while charging, because she can totally do everything while it's charged. So if it was actually on, like, the circle or B button or whatever...
You have to be holding it down with your thumb and trying to trigger other buttons with your thumb, which sucks.
By the way, the charge attack is awful for dealing with these things because it's a spread shot. So I have no idea why it tells you.
Really good for dealing with certain other things, though, like a lot of bosses.
It is fairly helpful on bosses. It really depends on exactly... it depends on what type of opportunities the boss gives you, so it varies a lot from boss to boss. Like the first boss, it's not actually that useful. But yeah, it takes like 6 shots of that, or just a single combo with the leaf. And then you have a roll button. That is precisely the most useful will be for a very long time. Versus that one particular instance of that one enemy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back on it. I don't think there are actually all that many defensive enemies in this game that you really have to roll behind.
No, it's mainly... It is a dodge move, so it does give you some iframes.
Yeah, it's just weird to me that in the tutorial they expressly listed it as, like, press B to roll behind enemies. It's like, most of the time I'm just using this to get out of the way of something, not to actually get behind anything.
It may be faster for actually moving, I'm not sure.
Probably. I'm pretty sure the speedrun does a bunch of roll.
Possibly. I have not looked into speedruns of this game. So one other thing that is not obvious at all from looking at this game, these controls are really fucking tight. This is actually one of the best built games just for sheer feel. That's cool.
Tiny imp child threw a dagger at your knees. You gonna take that?
Yes. It is not worth my time to kill the stupid thing. It's about the 2 completely missable HP increased pickups in this area. Because you can't come back here for a very long while. Oh, that was stupid. This, which is a mild trap type thing. So, you don't take any fall damage in this game, but if you fall from far enough, instead of the 3-frame fall animation, you get like a 7 or 8-frame fall animation. And if you don't know about this, you're going to try and jump during that animation and do nothing. that Roll Behind works precisely for the tutorial one and none of the other ones. As far
Basically,
as I can
because
tell.
they'll turn around.
Yes. So, by the way, you can't actually get back up after you come down here. So if you miss that health pickup up behind that hidden wall, you miss that health pickup behind that hidden wall. Also, as you can see, she just starts with a double jump, which is actually nice.
Yeah.
Some sort of weird goblin.
It is a giant blob thing that appears precisely here. Ah, got it. That is our first passive item. Has a random chance of doubling the amount of money things drop, which is actually called money.
Mini.
So for reference, any percent hard mode, 23 minutes, 32 seconds.
Why are you not dead? There we go. Technically, spikes are instant death, but you will be hard-pressed to actually hit them. Back to the whole, this game actually has pretty tight controls. Oh, right, this room. Okay.
It's not appear to be a 100% category for Momodora Reverie Under the Moonlight, mostly because 100% in games that have map completion is bullshit.
Considering my, like, I took my time and did it, playthrough didn't have 100% map completion, even though I could not physically find anywhere on the map that I missed, so I was completely confused.
Gotta jump down to the bounce block.
Yeah. I'm taking this fairly precautiously because I'm at basically 1 hit point.
Yeah. Yes. In lieu of 100%, there is AVIB, which is all vitality fragments, ivory bugs, defeating all named bosses, and obtaining the true ending.
Speaking of ivory bugs, here's the first one. There's a collectible, there's 20 of them.
I got a bug.
Yep. There's a guy later who cares about them, basically. Now here's how I actually deal with these guys. Just keep shooting arrows. So
Yeah.
everyone is dead.
They had a family.
Did they?
Look, these kids are just in the middle of the forest throwing grenades around for fun. And then here you come.
So, Ugu translates to shank me with a leaf, but you actually don't want to kill that. It's a merchant later, or a cousin of a merchant later that only shows up if you
don't
or something
kill it,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wall number 2.
Vitality fragment.
Down here. Okay.
Oh wow, look, there was a one high gap on that screen, heading off to the direction that you couldn't go through. I'm not sure you won't gain some ability later on to somehow get through one square high gaps.
Well, obviously she turns into a morph ball later. As you can see, she's a ball of sunshine. Let's see.
Look at this sassy child.
Ooh. Yep, that was not what we're trying to do.
But you got a whole bunch of shinies out of it that you won't need by the end of the game.
Not by the end of the game, but it is fairly useful. Oh, come on. Yep, I'm gonna die. There is no aim sword on that poison. Nope.
Yep. Yeah, so one thing about it, poison will outright kill you. It is not one of those games where poison will drop you to 1 HP but not kill you. No, you will just die from poison in this.
Yeah, in general, taking hits is bad in this game because, well, especially on hard. But everything does a large amount of damage.
Yeah, especially at the beginning where you haven't picked up many of the vitality upgrades. You're talking 3, maybe 4 hits on hard mode, and you're dead. Normal mode, you got maybe 6 or 7.
Twirl!
Also important note, as you may have noticed there, picking up health upgrades does not actually fill you up to full health.
Talk over again for no reason.
Cannot shoot the brat.
No, you cannot. Let's not get poisoned by rolling around like an idiot. Take that, treasure chest. Okay, good. She's not standing on the bug. Hence why I never roll behind those things.
Yeah.
Because I can just spam the arrow button.
Also because, as noted, with the exception of the tutorial one, they generally just turn around.
Yes. It's actually kind of hard to do that roll behind thing on any of them but the tutorial one for whatever reason.
Again, because the roll is not actually intended to be a get behind defensive enemies thing, it is absolutely just intended to be a dodge. That for some reason they chose to demonstrate it as an example to get behind a defensive enemy.
Yeah. Now it is highly useful versus certain things. Like the third boss is pretty much your go-to move to avoid getting hit.
Accurate.
Well, depending on what boss order you fight things in, but the third boss I'm going to fight.
I'm almost certain I know which one you're talking about.
Nobly, you can shoot their ammunition for no reason.
Time to jump.
Okay, so now the first boss. Now we're going to perfect this boss. Or die trying.
Yep.
Pretty much literally, I think her hit actually just outright kills me. But this is going to take a while.
Yeah.
Because that will kill me. As will... Actually, that's mostly the move she's going to use, because...
Yeah, you're going to maintain middle range on her.
It should be noted, if you can melee her while she's down, it does a good chunk of health in comparison.
It's just really hard to do and not get owned.
Yes, because the timing on this is... not that great. As you can see, she also breathes poison, which, if you're hugging her, it doesn't.
Yeah, the safe zone for poison is literally right in her face.
Yes, right in her face or back a lot. You also do not want to be against the wall, because once she gets to half health, the wall starts randomly shooting up poison.
Yep, poison will start flying in.
Yep, like that.
Like that.
But if she will just stay back there, I'm just going to jump and shoot her in the face. Shooting off-screen enemies is one of the best ways of dealing with them.
You may have noticed there is, if she's on screen invisible, there is actually a tell when she's about to attack. She does those little flashy things there, which is nice at least.
She has like 3 or 4 different attacks, most of which she only does if she's actually close to you, which makes this boss fight incredibly boring to watch if you actually know what you're doing. Also, weirdly, the health bar has a little bit of extra health that doesn't actually come into play for whatever reason. Because that last hit shouldn't have actually been able to finish her off.
So, like that, we finish the first boss, and we get an item for perfect input.
Yes.
Nice.
Now, if you're not trying to perfect every boss, I still highly recommend you perfect this boss because that item
Yeah.
is very useful, and will kill yourself. And you'll kill yourself with it on occasion. So it grants your arrows the poison property, which means it can absolutely poison enemies. It can also absolutely poison you because it leaves behind a poison cloud,
Ah, okay, I was about to say, like, yeah. It's
like that.
Bang, of course. Okay, now random aside question. When you save, does it respawn all the little enemies?
When you flex a screen, it respawns everything.
Yeah, it's old school respawn style. Changing screens will reset.
Alright. Oh, some kind of cool.
Ghoul, Panda, I'm not sure what the hell he is.
You say it's not both.
By the way, whenever Kaho does that pose, she explains everything about herself, her backstory, and what's happening in the entire plot to someone.
I think she's just holding up like a card or something.
I'm Kaho. I'm trained to fight with a leaf, eh?
Star forward for the maple leaves. Not those ones, the other ones.
By the way, I think this is the only time we see this character.
I think he shows up in one other place, but it's very easy to miss him.
Undertale?
Does look a bit like Sans, yes.
Yep.
So yeah, there's some weird curse that has fallen upon the kingdom, and has reached out to Kaho's village, which is why she's here.
That's okay, I'm here to lift the curse, eh?
I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit because I need to be able to hear those things laughing.
Yep, go for it. So their tell is an audio cue, not really a visual one.
Yeah.
Notably, they'll be off camera when they do it sometimes.
Yeah.
It's another hyper bug. Actually, let's not do this. Let's do this guy first. By the way, whenever Kaho talks to someone, she jumps back a little, regardless of where she is. So these guys are the merchants. Any item you can only ever have one of any item. So if I buy these from this guy, no one else will sell them to me. The Ring of Candor, there are 3 different merchants that sell it. He's actually, I think, the most expensive.
Yes. He is the earliest, but the most expensive.
And it's not really needed.
Not great, no.
Yeah. Sound emits when you need secrecy. Alternatively, just, go look at a map.
Yeah, pull up a map.
Yeah. And the highly useful... Yes, so we have a questionably useful item, which helps prevent status ailments. A highly useful item, which is like 5 seconds of... Or, no, I think it was like 15 seconds.
It's like 15 seconds, yeah. The Crystal Seed is honestly one of the most useful items in the game.
Yes, for boss fighting. It is useless for everything else.
Yes.
So we'll put that Crystal Seed. We will leave the Fairy Ticker unequipped, because I'd rather just get more monies. By the way, that will do an enormous amount of damage. And is kind of hard to dodge, especially if you can't hear it coming, and they will absolutely shoot on camera. Yes.
Ghost Dog. Way of the Samurai. A Heckhound. Oh, he exploded.
Yes. So when they jump from one level to another, they'll actually make pretty big leaps, unlike when they just jump back and forth on the same level. Here's a barrier for later.
You need the Karst Crest. Pay no attention to the Ghost Crows.
I was going to
Seriously,
say,
pay no
for
attention
ambience.
Yes.
Whoa!
Oh. As I said, a lot of damage. Like, yeah. Yeah, I did that wrong. I also forgot to save.
Did forget to save.
Well, double time on this. Talk to you for no reason.
I'm Kaho. You look funny, eh?
Oh, managed to poison myself on that box. As I said, arrows, you'll occasionally kill yourself with these.
Oops, I poisoned myself. There I go, poisoning again.
Look, anybody who's been watching our streams is used to how good we are at games by now.
Especially when you're half paying attention, no, it's pretty hard for you to die in this section.
And yeah, the other thing about it is it's not always real clear what are actual objects that will stop arrows and be like stop movement, and what are just sort of background stuff. Game overall does a decent job of indicating that, but every once in a while there'll be a thing where it's just like, oh, I'm pretty sure that's a background object. Oh god, I'm full of poison because my arrow hit it.
Yep, died of poison. Should be noted the poison is just as deadly to enemies. It actually does a good amount of damage. Should also be noted that we're not monitoring chat, so I'm not sure if there's actually anyone talking. Oh, you are? Oh,
yeah.
It's on your phone. Got it.
Yeah. Yes, the dogs also hurt like a lot.
Damn it.
Oh! It's not different at all, is it, Steve?
It is, because I have the same...
yeah, we save here.
Yes.
This is a cursed city. Ha 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 ha.
Ha! She exploded in double money. Totally my intent.
Yeah.
Hasn't anybody told her that using magic to make stuff into bits is just going to ruin the economy?
You only have to worry about it once. Unless everybody does it. Stop that. Money. Dog. Sometimes the correct answer is the bow, sometimes the correct answer is the leaf. God damn it. That's right, there's two of the dogs, not one. Okay. Well, starting that from the beginning.
There are a fair number of one-way doors in this game as well, so...
Yes. Now, mind you, once you open those doors, they're just open.
Yeah. They're essentially shortcuts back from later areas.
Yes. Generally, you found where the boss area is. Here's like the shortcut back to the same point. Why'd I do that? Oh, great. Well, this is me playing horrible. Even by the standards of what I normally play for this game. I'm not sure how to open that menu. Okay, yeah, there is something breakable up there that I hit my arrow on a couple times. Oh well. Ah.
See, all these boxes and barrels and stuff, for the most part, are breakable, but they have like 3 bits in them. They're not really worth the time.
Oh, they have no bits in them. There's nothing in these things. They are not worth any time. The big annoyance is they can actually take arrow fire.
Yeah, they will block attacks, essentially.
Apparently you have to go here for to start casting.
Yeah, they do actually have a range at which they will aggro.
It's long and off camera, but...
Yes, it is off camera, but...
How did I get hit by you? It should be noted, while you're invincible during that, you're not invincible immediately after that animation. So if the dog was on top of me, it would hit me.
Shiv, you went through the Dark Souls 3 Let's Play just like the rest of us. You know Vince doesn't dodge.
I do kind of in this game. The problem is you can't dodge in the air.
Yes, that is accurate.
Yet. You actually do get that
Yes, you
ability
do get it later.
It's one of your 2 movement abilities you get later.
Yeah, one of the nice things I do like about this game is that you do actually start with, honestly, most of the abilities you'll have by the end of the game.
This is the other witch, which just summons stuff under you, and is a lot easier to deal with.
Yeah, because as soon as she starts casting, it's basically on lock where she is. Oh, look, a trap.
And 2 more bellflowers, which is permanent, so I now have 5 bellflowers.
Yep. So it's a trap that's definitely worth falling into, but
Yes.
a trap nonetheless.
It's not even a good trap.
What seems to be the problem, eh?
Fortunately, I cannot stop. I cannot talk to her my way off the screen. Let's see. I remember. Yep, over there. These guys who are notably less dangerous than the witches or the dogs, but appear out of nowhere. See, the thing I love about the bow is it kills things off screen.
Yep.
It's the best way of killing anything.
Yes, you as the player can pull the same bullshit that enemies do.
Thankfully. That is that shortcut, because that is the entirety of this area. Alright, so now to perfect the next boss. No, this one's not that hard. I say that and I probably will die 5 times.
The sigh was less about the difficulty of the boss and more about the boss.
I should actually do one thing first, because I don't want to keep changing things out as I don't need this for the boss, because they don't drop stuff anyways.
Yep.
And that is mildly helpful. I really do mean mildly. Mostly to help me not poison myself. I think I could technically get cursed from the first guy, but it doesn't really matter. Oh no, that's not that dangerous. Okay. Yes. No. Yes. Okay.
You're fine. You played 2 Who games.
Only the fighters, really. Are you done? Yes. You're done.
Yeah.
All right. And now for the actual boss, Lubella.
You boys like anime titty?
God damn it. Yeah, the timing
missed.
on that. Yes. Yes, I did. I don't really fear the first phase.
The Mocha is not a challenge.
No, and...
Mocha is not intended to be a challenge. Mocha exists as a joke.
Mocha mostly exists as a time waster.
Yes.
Yes, do more of that. And other things where I don't have to bother moving. I can just hit you with arrows until you give up. Damn it. Good enough. I'll do charge so I can hit the bell the second she appears. Okay, good.
Yeah, so she is one of the bosses that charge shots are actually quite useful against, not only because she's big, but also because there are several points where she does go off screen and then comes back on, giving you time to actually charge.
Yes. Her main difficulty is remembering she actually attacks on occasion.
Yes. Yeah, most of her time is just spent standing there.
Yes. Problem is, you do have to dodge her attacks. They don't. She doesn't give you that big a window. Unlike Moko, where I can, I don't know, do this a lot. Why are you hugging me? God.
Yeah, so it is important to note that if you do somehow manage to get hurt by Mocha, that does count towards perfecting the full boss.
Yes, yes, it does.
Mocha is considered the first phase of Lubella.
Yeah, Lubella's technic. Lubella herself is only one phase.
Yeah.
Notably, Mocha usually backs off, not hugs
Yeah,
me.
Mocha usually heads to the... I don't think I've ever seen him actually rush like that before.
Her, technically, I think.
It. Them. I'm not sure you can gender small one-eyed horn gremlins.
You probably can.
Its gender is Mocha.
Its gender is the ground shaking yet? Okay, good. I can ignore this thing's existence.
Yes, the actual annoying attack. The one from above is decently easy to dodge because it does telegraph and you have some time as it travels to get out of the way. The one from below sucks.
Yeah, that one.
There you go.
Yep. I do kind of recommend perfecting this one too, partially because that is actually easy, and partially because this charm
is quite useful.
It's useful in certain places. It's less useful for boss fighting, actually.
Yes.
But it is useful for walking about in general. Oh. Wait, almost forgot.
Yep. Map completion.
Yep. Entirely for map completion.
Yes, that screen literally is for nothing else. Nothing ever happens on that screen. It is solely there to drive you insane if you're somehow trying to go for 100% map completion.
Right, you're there.
Alright, this time when you reload for save, also remember to switch back from the fairy
Oh, right, I have the
fairy tier.
fairy tier still equipped. I would have noticed when I got the slice of pizza. Why did I do that? Also, why did I do that? Oh. Okay, screw it. There we go. And kill him out of petty spite. Ah, curse all those gems going into the pit. If only there was a way to stop that. Crow. NPC.
I'm not human, I'm Canadian, eh? Oh, we get by.
How the hell do you think I got here?
Hey, if you know where Tim's is around here, I'll gladly take shelter.
Calf. And again, explain our entire backstory. Priestess from Loon. Seeking the Queen's aid.
No, I said I'm a priestess and I have a loon. Our money has geese on it, you know.
Yeah, I know, I defeated her. For the first time.
Oh, she wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I know. I'm killing, like, I don't know how many people on the way through the city.
Wait, your parents named you Kath and Catherine? They were very inventive, weren't they?
I think this is the same line, yes.
Yeah. I shouldn't have anything new to say yet.
Now to kill this enemy off camera. Okay. By the way, you can jump in the water.
Yes, you can in fact jump in the water.
He's dead. Expecting that to be dead. And now, the slice of pizza.
Yes, the magnet stone, which
Is exceedingly
absolutely
useful.
looks like a slice of pizza. And yeah, we'll prevent said thing about money dropping into pits, basically.
By just handing you all the money. Now to go save. It's a lot easier going the other way.
Yeah, one thing it doesn't explicitly point out during the tutorial, but you're supposed to kind of pick up on from that one radish dude that's not facing towards you, enemies do actually have, like, notice zones, so if you walk up behind them, a lot of times they won't notice you.
Yeah.
There are certain enemies that will, but the vast majority, like, typically if an enemy has, like, eyes, then they are looking ahead of them and will, in fact, not actually notice you if you sneak up behind them.
Okay, and now for one of the two mini games that the boss has. The boss has, yes. One of the two mini bosses that the game has. This dude with a sword and no backstory. That we'll handle.
So that's what the item that we got from Labella does.
He's also immune to arrows.
Yes, he is immune to arrows. He is not immune to square spam from the skies.
Which leaves him at practically no hit points. Which is why that item is exceedingly useful pretty much immediately. Now for the most bullshit thing this game does. Now you see there's a bug up there. Now you know how to get to this bug? I'll let you guess. Because you're not going to.
Yeah. Invisible block!
The only one in the entire game, by the way.
Yes, literally. There are no other invisible blocks in this entire game. There is that one whose sole purpose is getting that ivory bug.
Let's see. Alright, you can't jump up to.
Wow.
Hit the... Okay, yes. Also, by the way, that... that is similarly the only time they do that. Have ground that you could jump through and doesn't really look like you should be able to.
Yeah, in case it's not coming through very well at all, there is absolutely zero indicator whatsoever that is there in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
There's no difference in the way the ground looks or anything. It's just kind of you have to know it's there.
Yeah. That is also the only instance of that in the game as well. We're actually quite through all of the bullshit. Okay, that type of glitch.
Yeah, the other thing about the spawning underneath you witches is it does actually give you advance warning quite a ways before the pillar actually shows up.
Yes. And this thing...
Can't do anything with yet.
Nope.
Apparently because we're not Solid Snake. Cardboard box.
There's a dog that's hard to see down there.
Yeah. As far as the level design enemy placement does go, they do occasionally actually come up with some pretty clever placements for dogs, making it hard to see, but Oh yeah, you know what that's like. I'm from Canada.
I've been indoors. It's not safe here either. There's dogs, witches, random guys that appear out of nowhere. I think the only named male character in the game is this guy.
Yes?
I'm only not sure because I'm not sure his or her gender.
Yeah. There's a Momodora game. I would not be surprised if it's all female characters.
Yep, inside the monastery, surrounded by cats. She always jumps back in the same direction, so...
Yes.
Take that, crow. Monastery. Their highly legitimate religion. Sure, why not?
Yeah, we've got the money and
We got the money, and technically we can get infinite money here.
yes.
Propagated her destruction.
Now that the Her Highness.
Yes. Wait.
Look, I understand you have some social problems, but blaming people not believing in God is not the way to solve them.
Also very much like the music here.
Yeah.
It especially plays into the boss. By the way, if you're playing through this game for the first time, don't actually follow this route. Go next to Kath, there's a ladder. Go down that way and do that stuff first.
Yeah, I guess.
This is easily a harder boss than any of the rest of the game, as a matter of fact. This is probably the hardest boss in the game.
It is, but if you do this one first, it also means you're not going to have much trouble with the rest of the game.
Yes and no. The enemies are actually harder in the rest of the game. This actually doesn't have that hard of enemies, so I guess it's a this for that. I'm not entirely sure. Make up your own mind. The actual, level is probably one of the easier ones. The boss is one of the harder ones. I guess is the best way to put that. You guys aren't going to come down anytime soon, so screw it. Okay, these are explosive barrels.
You can tell, because they have red skulls on them that you
Yes.
can barely see, because they're hidden behind the barrel bands.
And this is the room where you can get infinite money, so long as you have the slice of pizza. Because all you need to do is this.
And then hold stuff.
Yes.
And then you walk out, and back in. Go the other way.
We're not actually going to get infinite money. This is mostly for demonstration purposes.
Yeah. The other thing about it is it's not actually all that much point to money past a certain point in this game.
I mean, we're nowhere near that point, but we'll get it well enough.
Yeah, we will naturally get enough money to get everything we need.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to you from down here.
Yep, fairy tier, which we already have, and it costs half as much from the other guy. And this empty room.
Yes, certainly an empty room. Nothing at all in this room.
The woman surrounded by cats. Explain backstory.
Connected with Koti, the full thing's hard to see.
It really is. Cotillard?
I think it's Cotillard, isn't it?
Probably. Paramol. Was that other guy? Or gal? We're not sure.
Yeah, Paramol is the butler person.
This doesn't matter much. Most of these characters we meet precisely once. Possessed by malevolent greed.
Oh yeah, as opposed to all those monarchs possessed by benevolent greed. Oh, that's okay. I've been to America. I don't expect kindness from anywhere I go.
The monastery key. Which, unsurprisingly, is a key item. Yep. Can I pull that way off camera? Back through this room where they don't respawn for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Right, so now to loot the monastery. Which is easier said than done.
Because of crap like that.
Yeah. Okay. Now do not jump into someone. God damn it.
Yeah, that shot is really hard to...
Oh, there's a
Yeah, there's a
explosive
big
barrel
big
there.
barrel
That's
right
what
there.
killed me. Be nice if I noticed that myself.
Yeah, no, that shot that comes across there is actually really hard to dodge just because of the timing. Because you do have the other witch trying to put a thing underneath you.
Yeah, I was inside that one. Let's see.
So, like, I think the trick to it is to go a little slower and like, kind of dodge around it. But, yeah. It's all about timing it, so you're kind of in a gap there, basically.
There we go. That's the entirety of what's in this room. So these things, which are mildly annoying, master power kill. But yeah, those things will actually curse if you hang around them. Curse is, you can't use any of your items and all your passive items are turned off.
Is moderately annoying as a status effect. Dependent. It's a very situational thing.
Yeah.
And that door just has a bunch of question marks when you try and go through it. Doesn't
Yes.
say it doesn't open from this side, doesn't say it's locked. It's just a bunch of question marks.
There's a reason for that.
Yep.
Don't entirely remember what it is, but there is a reason for that. Should stay for that subtitle.
Yeah.
Notably, that caster that is doing the is the one up there in the heart piece room. Basically.
Yeah, you can't actually get to them from below. You are just stuck having to avoid them.
Should be noted that they also explode in their same status condition, or their same cloud they trail behind, so they can absolutely curse you upon death if you stand in the cloud. Or, you know, knock you back into another room. Did I get the heart? Did I save after the heart piece?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
An extra 50 money.
Yeah, which is not actually bad, but... There. Much better. Just shoot everything until it's dead. I think think that literally exists just as decoration.
Pretty much.
Climbing ladders by jumping on them. Oh, I've missed that in games.
This is an elevator with a chair in it.
Yes. Alright, so this way first. Oh, come on.
And it didn't look quite long enough.
That was emotion. Nothing here.
Yeah, it has a wider radius than you think it does.
Yeah, it does. Well, this room also has tons of exploding barrels. I think the first time I played this game, I never saw that guy.
Oh, that dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no, you don't actually have to come up here for anything.
Oh, I came up here, I just killed him off camera.
Ah.
Thanks, game. That's so totally what I was trying to do and not roll past him. Okay. Notably, you cannot jump off this elevator.
Try to get fancy.
Fancy nothing. I was trying to actually, you know, time something right. Apparently didn't. Goddamn HP buckets.
Yeah. You may notice that guy has these huge, like, waves of homing shots that kind of loop around to slam into you. It's annoying as hell.
Yes. Tainted Missive, which is exceedingly useful for fighting bosses in the sense that it does damage to you. You use it before the boss fight. It does not count as taking damage. During the boss, you don't actually have to finish those fights with full health.
You just have to not take damage during the fight for it to be considered perfect in the boss.
Yes.
It actually does track that, which is kind of a cool thing.
It also helps basically go into hyper mode, which again is really useful when you're perfecting bosses because it's hyper mode.
Yeah.
You know, I was just about to ask. Do those explode? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
The barrels.
Clarify, Krampus has been asleep for about the past 20 minutes.
Yes. He's had trouble sleeping lately, so we decided not to wake him.
I have befallen a horrible curse. Relying on this plucky Canadian to help me.
I mean, we're just going with it. You heard it here first. Canonically, Loon is now Canada. That's why they arm the priests with maple leaves.
Yes. Alright, this thing. Well, that's gonna make this one good.
That's okay, you just say it.
Why are you dead?
But you only hit him like twice. Keep shooting his fucking balls.
Where did you even come from? I don't even remember you.
I've come from your nightmares.
Okay. I'm doing really good on bosses and absolutely terrible on the stage, which is the exact inverse of my practice, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't think I died much on stages, but I actually did fairly awful on bosses. Yep, there you are. Die!
Yeah, in another example of fairly clever placement of things, there are those dropping blocks that are incredibly well hidden over there.
Okay. Now I use the monastery key, which is why we didn't come up here first.
Excellent. Monastery of Bowser.
Yep. By the way, these are instant death.
Yep, they are spikes.
Nope. Okay. God damn. I don't remember that thing even causing that much damage before. I'll have to kill that thing off camera. Okay. Jumping too far and getting hit into those things does not help.
Also, that's something I don't see a lot of games do, is have the entire room be within draw distance, so to speak, so that you can stand.
Yeah, with ranged attacks, you can attack well beyond where you can actually see.
Okay, that's how I did that room beforehand. Every single time except for right now for some stupid reason.
But yeah, that is something that this game actually does that's a really kind of cool thing, especially because
That's
like
what you have to
one of
roll
your
up.
primary things is ranged attack. It's just like a default thing you have from the very beginning, so they do actually have the vast majority of things be in the room when the room spawns, regardless
Like that
of whether
guy.
you can see them or not.
Yes.
The only exceptions to that are, like, for instance, those dudes who throw the exploding globes. They do actually spawn in. They are not there from the start. And there's, like, I think one, maybe two other enemies in the whole game that have that similar kind of thing. So yeah, important note there, by the way, as you may have picked up on. The game still moves while you're locked in the animation for, like, saving.
Yep. Ivory bug and more stuff you can get if you...
Have Morph Ball. Certainly Morph Ball.
Okay. You are goddamn annoying. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, so when they put like things like the save bells on screens that have enemies, enemies will still continue to approach you when
Yes.
you save. Which does mean you can occasionally, in fact, save and then immediately get hit as soon as the saving animation ends.
Should be noted, when this room reloads, there is still a skull over there, and it will slowly move towards you.
Very slowly.
Yep. Now to do a boss fight. We're going to stand here, use this item twice, and then get into the fight. Wayne destroyed this kingdom's faith. This covenant, our abode, is all that's left for those who pray. Remain in light, you are not one of us.
And now it's time for my favorite song in this entire game.
Yes, the partner's dance. Perhaps you are siding with the queen. Look what she's done to this kingdom.
Oh, it's not so bad. You ever been to Alberta?
Spurge that evil.
Yeah, we're gonna X-Purge it.
This is Partner Fennel. Partner Fennel is awesome.
Yes.
This boss fight, while definitely the hardest boss fight in the game, is also possibly the most amazing boss fight in this entire series.
Yeah. Get used to it, you're probably going to see it a lot.
Yeah, it is. Especially if you are attempting to perfect it, it is. Oh.
You saw the dialogue once, that's good enough. I hate it when she does that.
I mean, at least it pretty much kills you.
Yeah. The corner is a bad place to be on that fight.
It's just also very hard to get out of. Because of the way her moves work.
Yes.
So I realized that dashing around with a sword isn't all that uncommon in like a lot of different game styles. There's still a lot of like now that I've played Hollow Knight, one of the bosses in that game moves a lot like she does. I think they might have taken a little bit of inspiration from this game.
Possibly. Hollow Knight has a lot of inspirations that it very much wears on its sleeve.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, this,
You want to say a certain distance from her so she doesn't do, well, that
so
type of dash.
Also, one important thing to note about this particular process, it doesn't matter as much when you're playing on hard, because you really don't have that much health to begin with. But for the Tainted Missive boost thing, the game doesn't care if you use bellflowers during a boss fight to gain health that you were missing when the fight starts. So you can actually Tainted Missive, then bellflower a bunch to heal back up to start, and then start the fight. Yes. But on hard, it doesn't really matter much, especially against the partner. She will just fucking kill you even at full health.
Oh no, her sword swing doesn't actually do a full health bar damage.
It doesn't do a full health bar, it does like 3/4 at this point. If you do come back here later, by, you know, doing the down ladder first, you might get 3 hits, but...
You also have the air dash, which can make this a little bit easier. Mainly, you can get out of the corner a lot easier with air dash.
Yes. Instead of really well-timed double jumps, essentially. And prayer.
Mostly. Or if you catch her hugging you.
Or can get lucky and that happens.
Yes. The odd part is that's Phase 2, and Phase 2 is actually easier.
Yes, Phase 2 is actually easier on that.
Mainly because she adds that jump to her, well, I started this fight, so I don't get the
No missive this time.
Nope. Okay,
that was set up to fuck you, basically.
Practically. The big problem was the lightning with practically no screen that isn't next to her. So when she does the lightning, she also does a little bit of a, like, poke next to her. So even if you dodge the lightning, if you are right next to her, she will hit you anyways.
Yeah, so there's this very narrow band if she's like center screen and does the lightning, where you can actually stand and be safe.
Gah! If I kept walking, it would have been fine. Oh well. Which is also this time.
It's also important to note, I don't actually recommend trying to perfect the bosses for your first playthrough of this game.
No, I mean I did anyways, but
Yeah, it's unless you are willing to fight the bosses multiple times in order to learn their patterns. Like a first playthrough, this game is definitely enjoyable enough to play through with, and the items you get for perfecting boss fights are not that significant.
Rolled the wrong way.
I mean, they do definitely make some difference, but none of them are completely like, this 100% changes the game.
No. I mean, I highly recommend you perfect the first one regardless, and the second one probably.
The Bella is easy enough to perfect.
And the item is reasonably useful.
Because she doesn't really spend any time attacking.
Her item is solely useful for people trying to perfect every boss.
Yeah. And the first boss's timing is not terribly hard to learn, so it's worth it to get the square rain. Just because there are a lot of things in this game that square rain basically trivializes.
Gah! I overestimated the jump on that one. I could have actually just stayed in the corner.
Yeah, you would have been fine. I mean, on the bright side, it's the best song in the game, so
yes.
Hearing it over and over again is not a problem.
Yeah. Especially since it only has like a minute and a half loop, so you're probably hearing most of it.
Yes, most of the songs in Momodora are maybe 2 minutes at most. I mean, the soundtracks are really good, but individual songs are incredibly short.
Again, I'm so used to her being on top of me when she does that I can easily roll past that jump.
Yeah, no, if she's actually at any sort of distance, you kind of want to either stay still or roll the other way.
Like the pause there. I'm so used to her being on top of me. Oh.
Like,
yeah, as far as the music goes, it is important to know that, as mentioned, Bomb Service, the people that make these games, are like 3 or 4 people, and I think at least 2 of them are composers.
Isn't that usually how it is with games like this? Like,
well, yeah, I mean, that's
to be a thing
Zune, the guy who makes Toho, is primarily a composer who then just happens to figure out how to make games.
I just find it interesting in general with, like, these niche indie companies that they all tend to produce really good music in their stuff. Like, Toho's got a really good soundtrack.
Yeah.
This has a really good soundtrack. Cave Story and...
Literally everything Vlambeer has ever made.
Yes, that's true.
The Nuclear Throne soundtrack is a jam, and I will fight anyone who says any different.
And Undertale practically lives on its soundtrack. Oh, the rest of the
Undertale
games...
lives on about everything, but that's because Toby Fox is some sort of genius.
Yeah. I would about say that the only game that doesn't have a great soundtrack, not a bad one, but just not a great one, recently is Stardew Valley.
I do not dislike Stardew Valley's soundtrack by any means. The first time you play through the game, it's not bad at all. My only problem with it is, after having put more than 200 hours into that game, I've gotten tired of it. Mostly because there's not that many songs, so you hear them over and over again. And for a game that is, like, for a game like Momodora, it doesn't matter that there's only, like, maybe 12 songs on the entire soundtrack, and, you know, each one is maybe 2 or 3 minutes long. because the game itself is maybe 4 hours, if that, if you're really trying to push hard for it. But like for a game like Stardew Valley, where it is quite honestly specifically designed to be probably an 80 to 100 hour investment, you do need a bit more variance in the music.
Yeah.
Fortunately, Stardew Valley is incredibly easy to mod, so you can just throw whatever music you want in it.
Should know.
Like I do, where I basically listen to nothing but Suikoden soundtracks while I play Stardew Valley.
Another one.
Brief pause there while we turn some lights on.
Yes.
This stream brought to you by Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark.
No, it's not. Don't saddle us with that.
Spider-Man had a good reason for destroying Broadway.
We are way higher quality than Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. There are not many things on Earth we can say we are discernibly higher quality than. Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark is absolutely one of them.
I feel like there's a lot of things we are higher quality than. We're higher quality than dirt.
Da.
I don't know. Dirt has a lot of beneficial qualities.
You know what's really depressing? I'm thinking about it right now. If we had a stream of 4 hours of Momodora versus a stream of 4 hours of dirt, I'm not entirely sure the internet would not watch the 4 hours of dirt.
It's the internet. They almost certainly would, in fact, watch the 4 hours of dirt. Admittedly, 4 hours of dirt sounds like one of those things Adult Swim plays at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Or an
Which
alternative
is not
music
actually
band.
about 4 hours of dirt.
Yeah.
It's just called 4 hours of dirt.
Yeah,
but
it's
is
one
in
of those
fact
weird
some sort of
trippy-
Lovecraftian horror.
One of those weird, trippy infomercials.
Yeah.
Actually, I do notice that we're playing a very, like, ground-based game with her. Is it just because the jump is too slow, or...?
No, she'll hit you.
Yeah, she will swing. If you try and jump over her, she will swing over her head.
Yeah, her swings actually have a lot of vertical to them.
Well, yeah,
so actually
considering-
trying to get over her is pretty precise timing.
Yeah, considering her sword is, like, mostly the size.
Well, with what we have now, we basically cannot reliably get over her. As was mentioned previously, this is one of the earliest splits in the game where you can come here later after you've gotten an air dash, which does make it significantly easier to get over her.
Yes.
You will still occasionally get hit if you time it wrong, but... Yeah, didn't manage to use the missiles on this one, I see.
No. It's a matter of, oh! Where you walk in this room.
Yeah.
If you,
If you're moving too fast when you come in, you won't stop in time to be able to...
if you don't remember to let go, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a slight amount of momentum to movement. Not terribly much, but just enough that it'll push you into the like, pixel zone for triggering the cutscene.
Yeah, like that.
Looks like she takes more damage in the second stage.
No, it's because I boosted
It-
my,
Yeah, he used the crystal seed.
Okay.
No, I don't think there's any boss in the game that has a thing like taking more damage in second phase. Not one that I can recall off the top of my head. It's just a matter of, yeah, he as she is doing her little sword charge up thing, he pops the crystal seed just to have like the 10 seconds or so boosted.
damage, basically, yeah.
Because you can't really do anything to her during that anyway, as she is invincible while she's charging her sword.
It's really hard to judge the distance
Yeah.
on that, and I try not to actually be that far from her during that phase for that reason. I need to remember to move closer. Really?
Yeah.
I hate it when she goes straight into hug you. It's very hard to react to that one. Ah. That's why you dodge forward and not back on that.
It's a deceptively powerful hitbox.
Great, start forward in the room a little more.
Yeah, it doesn't help that for a lot of her attacks, like her actual hitbox becomes roughly a third of the screen,
Yeah.
at least like side to side.
Okay. Need to not trigger her doing a double dash, because apparently I don't have room to dodge anything.
Yeah, so a lot of the bosses in this game do have somewhat manipulable AI, wherein like distances will determine what moves they do.
Yes.
Fennel has semi-manipulable AI, in that she does have certain things she will do from certain distances, but for the most part just kind of does what she wants.
It's in the middle of an animation, didn't get the second dodge roll off there.
Yeah. Yeah, the timing on perfecting Fennel is incredibly tight for a lot of her attacks. And then sometimes she just decides to play nice.
Ah! Not that. That! And sometimes she hits you with something that doesn't kill you, which is actually more annoying.
Yep.
Thou who art Canadian.
Okay, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to A, kill you, and then B, fix something that I should have fixed to begin with. Equipment, get rid of this.
Yeah, you don't really need the Bachman patch.
No, it's just making it slightly more annoying to...
I mean, strictly speaking, you can totally hit Fennel with the Bachman patch.
It's just an incredibly bad idea between how long you have to stand around for it to start moving and
It doesn't really do a whole lot.
and it clouds what she's doing, which as is kind of hard to
Yes.
determine.
Yeah, in case you haven't picked up on that, Fennel doesn't get hit stunned at all. Bosses basically don't get hit stunned in this. Like, regular enemies will, but bosses totally do not. So, stuff like the Bachman patch is not great against bosses, because it basically blocks off half the screen from you being able to see what's going on.
And Fennel doesn't stand still long enough for you not to get hit when you use it, so it's not actually a great idea in that respect either. Okay, good. I had enough room.
Okay.
There we go. There we
Very
go.
nice.
For that, we got an extra taint of missive.
2 extra taint misses. We can
Yeah.
actually kill ourselves. By the way, it does 25% damage, I believe.
Yes, yes, the taint of missive is in fact percentage based. No matter how much health you actually have, using all 4 taint of missives will always kill you.
Yes. Crest fragment. I now have a new bow charge level. By the way, this is the least useful crest fragment as well.
It is absolutely the least useful crest fragment.
The other ones are air dash.
Why don't you go ahead and display that new bow charge level?
Sure. Okay, so that's the first bow charge level, and if we wait a while, now the actual ability is great because it's
Yeah, it's a rapid fire shot. Unfortunately, it takes 4.5 hours to actually charge to.
so. The other ones are air dash, faster charge time, which you actually would want to get before this one, because flower, Pokemon patch. I have no idea why I let this equipped actually. Yeah, let's go like that. Let's see, air dash. I'm trying to remember what it was. Actually, I'm trying to remember what all of those
There's
are.
air dash. There's roly poly. Turn into a ball or something.
No, that's not one.
No,
of
that's
the-
not actually crest fragment.
No.
That is a power you get entirely separate from crest fragments.
Yes. Oh.
Spikes
Right.
are instant kill.
Yes, they are. Just demonstrate that spikes indeed are instant kill.
Yep.
Perfect boss. Walk directly.
That's
into
totally why
spikes.
we did that.
That's how curse works.
Curse.
Yes. Curse doesn't do any damage. Notably, Fennel, when she does that ground jump
Slam
thing,
with the
Particle.
aura around it.
yeah, the aura itself is cursed. It should
If she slams directly into you, it hurts like hell. If you just get hit by the explosion, it's curse.
yes, which notably does not ruin your perfect.
No, because there's
I
no
mean-
damage.
It
It sucks,
Yes.
and you will probably not beat her, but
it gets rid of your passive items for a while, which is annoying, but not like fatal.
yeah, it depends on what passives you have set up.
Yeah. Which, considering how early I'm doing this, it's not actually that bad.
Yeah.
Ah, good. Witches can't look backwards. They're a fatal flaw.
Yeah, most enemies in the game cannot, in fact, see behind them.
The Queen has taken our ability to turn around. Truly, we are cursed.
Let's see, and you are... And killing these people out of petty spite. Wait, why I'm doing this one.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, I kill partner Fennel first because I don't know, I like a challenge. That's my best guess.
Yeah.
Let me think. Oh, that other room is now unlocked, so let's go check that real fast.
I believe so.
Okay, I think... yeah, okay. Have I killed everything on camera yet? No, okay. Fuck, that guy in particular.
I gathered here today to remember Jerry the Skull.
And yeah, important note, it is Mega Man X rules here. You can obviously hold charge between screens. Very rarely does it actually have any real use, but you can do it.
You can hold charge at pretty much all times, including while doing other attacks. Okay, no, that doesn't open yet. I'm trying to remember what triggers that, but I also don't
I
care.
think it's a later boss fight.
It might be a later boss fight that triggers that. Alright, so back to continuing, which we could have actually done to begin with and would have made the partner fennel fight easier, technically. Yes.
Oh no, we missed out on like 20 money.
Yeah, exactly. Very important not to get cursed, mostly because it's just annoying. God damn it.
Like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's annoying because
we
I have to
see
pick
what-
up my money.
Here we see what not to do. Little Jenny has been cursed. Her life will be more difficult from here on out. The healing power of Jesus takes away the curse.
Alright, so now to climb down this ladder.
Little Jenny no longer has knees.
No fall damage!
Yep.
You have like a 7-frame fall animation instead of like a 3-frame fall animation. That's your penalty for falling.
Accurate.
Alright, now the Cinder Chambers, which
Now we
actually-
enter the Mesoamerican area of this country. I mean, not really. It's just the color scheme here has always made me think of, like, what games usually use for, like, Aztec or Mayan temples.
also traps.
Yes.
Alright, so from what I remember, every direction kind of sucks, but there's a save point down here.
Hey kid, want some Quetzalcoatl?
Yes, it's...
I don't remember if on the save point thing. I can absolutely verify on the every direction sucks.
Okay, so now to go this way because, Oh, right, that. Forgot there's a trap there.
Yes. Yeah, so welcome to the land of Cinder. Always expect arrow traps.
It's not that many, but they're just annoying enough. Are you dead yet? Are you dead yet? Yes. Okay.
In case it wasn't clear, those statues were actually enemies.
Yes. Yes, we're going this way. Ow.
Oh no, more tiny children.
Yeah, those guys actually suck because their hitbox is small as hell.
Yep. Now this merchant who is standing here for no reason. So the red ring is a unique thing he sells.
Yep. Which removes your ability to get money, but you do heal off of kills.
He's the second thing that does the Ring of Candor. Candor, whatever.
And the second most expensive.
Yes. Okay.
One of my least favorite normal enemies in the game because of that.
Yeah, because it does have a tendency to not go away. Alright, so from what I remember, that is not the way we want to go. That is
No, we'll go
actually...
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, also those fire ladies will ruin your day.
Yes, they will. They cast various spells, all of them kind of suck. Speaking of things that will ruin your day.
Why would they build a room like this? Why would they build a wing like this? I think I'll stop by the monastery, and then afterwards I'll go down to the horrible death room. I feel like enjoying the ambiance.
Thankfully, that's the only enemy in this room, so...
Look, this is just where they pound wheat into flour, man. Turns out the Chambers of Cinder are just actually a black metal bakery.
Yep, can't open that yet.
It took pound that dough like you hate it to whole new levels.
In other games, that would have been annoying.
Yeah, so you notice how this doesn't suck, because we just have double jump.
And they're very nice about when and how you can use it. Let's see. And this way is back to the save point. Okay. Okay, and let's go down because of reasons.
Nice.
Now, that's actually where it kind of can get useful.
Yeah, if you have a chance to, like, prep and then drop in on enemies like that, it's great. Those chances are few and far between.
Yes. Got it.
Oh no, you hit my throwing stars.
Got
Killed by throwing stars.
Yes. And sometimes I hate those bouncy blocks.
The stars are wrong.
Right, let's do the exact same thing we did last time. That will totally work. Okay. And merchant! Alright, so what can I afford here?
The cheap ring of Candor is here.
Yes. And everything else. Again, this thing only appears if you didn't kill the spider at the beginning.
It has drilling arrows, so it's very important to not kill the spider at the beginning.
Yes, and the Impurity Flask. Restores HP whenever the user is poisoned.
Wait, so poisoning heals instead, or you just get a burst of healing at the start of the poison?
No, poison heals instead.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, for example, if we put the Impurity Flask on here, and let's go for Dia's Pearl here. You see, I'm healing.
Oh. That's very nice.
And we wait for poison to wear off.
Which is a handy workaround, however, drilling arrows is literally one of the most important passive items in the game.
It is fairly useful for dealing with rooms full of crap.
Because, as you may infer from the name of it, it just means your arrows go through enemies.
Yes. It is exceedingly useful for actually getting to this boss. Which is what we're going to do next, so I might as well equip myself as such.
Yep.
I will need Crystal Seed, and Tainted Missive, and not that, and Drilling Arrows, and this thing which I will change to Dia's Pearl. Okay, yes. So this is the longest walk to a boss in the game.
Yeah, normally the game is actually pretty good about putting saves like right next to bosses.
So as you can see, those were 3 really difficult enemies in this room.
Yeah, whatever they were. The unknown is the most powerful enemy.
And yes, by the longest walk to a boss, I mean there's a screen between the save point and the boss. Basically.
Yes. I don't need drawing arrows for this boss,
Not
actually.
really drawing arrows for the boss itself.
Trying to remember, is there anything else useful here?
Not really.
No. None of these are useful. There's no stance conditions on this boss.
Yeah.
Alright, so let me think. Over here.
The heretical arsonist.
Who starts injured?
Yes.
Yes, she's fighting Calf.
She was fighting Calf.
Oh.
Teleporting fire thing.
That leaves behind fields of fire on the ground.
Fuck me. Yes. Oh, fuck me.
Yeah. Not much you can do there.
I have to jump over her while
Yeah.
she's doing the run across the screen thing and not be in one of the fields of fire.
Yes.
Alright. This is not actually that hard a boss, and while getting to it is a little bit annoying.
Yeah, the boss is not super hard if you do not get stuck in a corner exactly like that, basically.
Yeah. You've literally seen practically everything it does. It should be noted, here is a treasure chest mimic thing that is perfectly aligned for you to accidentally shoot it.
Now you will note, if you're coming down here and don't know that you're about to go into a boss fight and there are just these explosive barrels lying around, you would probably not actually set those off.
Yeah.
This will end really poorly for you.
Needless to say, she can also set off those explosive barrels. It will kill you. So, alternatively, if you... Yeah, the only other little difficulty is keeping track of the fact there's fire on the ground.
Yep. Should be noted, mimics in this game are not actually terribly subtle. They won't wait for you to be, like, right on top of them, usually.
They also won't grow horrible spindly claw hands and walk after you with big giant mouths. Dark Souls mimics are the worst.
Yes. Thankfully, the heretical arsonist has the courtesy to not monologue at me. Fuck. Yeah, I didn't see that one coming soon enough. And again, much like the Labella fight, one of the biggest dangers is remembering that the boss actually does attack on occasion.
Yeah, the random arsonist mostly just stands there and gets her face beat in by Kath.
And yourself.
Oh, equipping that pearl.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she also has a whip. You would be forgiven if you forgot this was a thing that actually exists.
Yes. Much like most of her attacks that aren't like the fire coming at you or... Oh, right, this.
Yep.
It's probably going to be too short, yes. That is not. I should have rolled. Oh well. Ah,
They're close.
Set up. Also remember I have this thing.
Yes.
As I can pretty much just use it immediately after
Yeah,
she has a teleport.
there's no decent point to, like, specific point where you want to use that over any other.
Generally after she teleports.
Yeah, because she'll usually be around for a while, but...
Yeah. Because...
It's not like Fennel, where there's very clearly a point of, like, okay, she's going to stand still for, like, 3 seconds, and I can't do anything to her, so
Yeah.
I may as well use it now.
I'll switch to this,
DS
and
Pearl.
I'll wait for her to teleport. I have this buff up anyways for a little bit. So I can do as much damage as possible at the beginning of the fight. Okay, now I use Pearl.
No, that's the Crystal. See, you were
Crystal
saying,
Seed.
remember to equip it to use Pearl.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's fine.
I can literally do it right now anyways.
Yeah. A, you can do it in the middle of it. B, I mean, poison does do a fair amount of damage, but it's not...
Is the fire still here? God damn it. Now, of course you have to walk into me. Well, that almost did something.
Yeah, just...
I'll burn you.
Honestly, just in general, in my experience with this fight, I usually try and avoid getting stuck in that little corner, if at all possible. Just because there's too much that can go wrong right there, and you don't really have any room to maneuver.
That's true enough.
Things have degenerated in the corner. I fear that we will never leave this corner again.
And purple.
Yeah.
It is important to note that the Heretical Arsonist is also one of those bosses that does have a tendency to move very slowly at most of the time and also stand still a lot. So again, you can totally hit them with the Bachman patch, it just doesn't really do much.
And we're just going to jump over you here, and...
There you go.
There you go.
Ah! Should not try to jump
Yeah,
there.
do not jump over those when they're...
No, if you see it coming, you can, but...
Yeah, it's usually safest with the fire orbs to just wait until after they've gone off and then just jump over her when she teleports in.
Yeah, it looks like she doesn't punish you like the sword lady does.
No.
No. She is far easier. As a matter of fact, I actually recommend killing her first, probably.
I'm at least 80% convinced the Heretical Arsonist doesn't actually notice you're there.
Not most of the time. I think also her teleport actually literally stops short of you regardless.
Yes, if you do not move, they will stop just shy of you. They basically try and catch you in the explosion radius.
Yeah, I was... Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
I was curious about that.
Yeah. those-
Yeah, they will catch you in the explosion radius, so you wait for them all to stop and then move away, basically.
Yeah. That actually
Then
makes
once-
this even easier.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
once the pillar disappears, you're free to just jump over.
Yeah.
Which is how you get out of corners. That's also how I managed to avoid getting stuck in that little door alcove.
'Cause
most of the
it's
time,
just you
'cause
don't
you don't
run
have to
forward.
run all the way to the right. You just kind of run
Yeah.
a little bit, stop, let the orbs stop, then move again. Because the notable thing about how that attack works is it will not actually go off until all of the orbs have stopped.
Yep, right.
Now, a question on the Poison Cloud. Does the Poison Cloud also do damage in addition to the poison that it does? Or is it just the Poison Cloud is there to poison?
The Poison Cloud is there to poison the enemy.
Okay. It doesn't do any chip damage on itself.
No.
No.
Okay. Oh.
How to tell if you are not playing a Dark Souls game? In a Dark Souls game, you would be standing in kerosene at that moment. And when the lamp dropped, everything would be on fire.
Yes.
Thankfully, you are not in a Dark Souls game.
Fire off your missives.
Okay.
Okay, so I've noticed that a lot of bosses kind of boil down to memorize the pattern and shoot them from a distance.
Mostly, yeah.
Is it viable to do mostly melee and just learn their patterns and dodge real well, or...
That stayed up way too long.
Theoretically, there are some bosses where it's just not viable to melee them.
You can melee every boss. It's just far more annoying than learning how to use the bow, because the bow's a ranged weapon.
Yeah.
Melee does actually do a bit more damage by default, except for after a while then it doesn't, because the pearl is only on the range attack.
Yes,
so
the pearl is only on arrows, as is like... So basically, you get a ton of upgrades to the arrows and not really any upgrades to the leaf.
Yeah.
This game very much intends you to use the bow a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, the leaf in and of itself definitely does more damage on individual hits.
Ah!
Yeah, you moved.
Yeah, I moved.
You held the button a little too long, basically. It actually took a step that direction.
The thing is, I started backing up because I thought she was using a whip, but whip
yeah.
has a bit more lead than that, so I should have known better.
Okay, also an important note of several remarks made previously. So the whole thing with the 4 tainted missives, there is technically a point to having 4 of them, in that, as previously mentioned, you can bellflower after using them. Not great. It doesn't make that huge difference, but... So it's not that the game literally gives you a thing that will just outright kill you to use. You can, like, use 3, use some bellflowers, and then use the 4th.
I'm so used to dodging that attack the way I usually do, and
Yeah.
completely thrown. You don't have to, actually.
Yes. Yes, you can, in fact, just stand still when the fireballs are coming at you, and then move when they stop.
Oh, no. Okay.
only hit point that counts is the last one.
So also of important note
the first
for people that are not trying to perfect bosses on this, totally viable strategy in this case. Again, we don't care because whatever, if we get hit we want to die because we're trying to perfect everything. If you're not trying to perfect everything, as you may have noticed, we don't actually care about the second passive item. Really good second passive item for this is in fact the whole poison heals you, because you can just shoot an arrow into the wall over there and poison yourself to get health back. And there we go.
And done.
Oh, by the way, I also recommend you perfect this one, even if you're not going for perfects, even if that did look annoying. The item she drops is incredibly useful, especially for boss fights.
Oh, I'm alright.
Sacred Leaf that I literally did not use for this entire fight.
Yeah, I got some time. I guess I can listen to you.
You don't
Oh,
say.
really? What was your first hint?
Hey, what with the monsters, eh? She has really let herself go.
Oh, I already got one of those.
Yeah. As said, I actually do recommend probably this one before Partner Fennel at the very least.
The game definitely intends you to do this one before Fennel.
Yeah. So the item we get for this,
The Pocket and Sensory.
which just adds fire damage.
Yeah, just
To-
straight up.
Yeah. Add flame to your attacks, which just does more damage. I think that one does work on the leaf as well.
Yes, that one specifically is just your attacks, not bow attacks, specifically like the Pearl.
And this exceedingly useful crest, the air dodge, which, this is the ground dodge. That's the air dodge.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as you can see, that makes Fennel a lot easier.
Yeah. Getting to the other side of Fennel is a lot easier when you can air dodge, because the air dodge is actually a lot better dodge.
It's like half the screen.
Yeah. It also just makes moving around that much easier.
Also be careful about that.
There we go.
Gotta put your pizza slice back on.
Yeah. That and what else do I want?
I usually stick with the drill arrows through most of the game, personally, but you also probably want to throw your bellflowers back on them.
Yes.
Air juggle.
Yes. And this should be where... That is precisely as annoying as it looks.
Yep.
Okay, that's where you are.
Yep. And that's the cinder key.
God, it's all gross, eh? Just gotta wipe it off.
Yep. For that door that we didn't go in.
And this horrendously annoying timing.
Sort of. I mean, this space is actually safe.
Yeah, it is, but it's still just like very tight timing on that.
It is.
It is technically possible for that block to get out of sync, and so you have to sit there for like a minute. I've had this happen. It sucks. So important note there, fire won't work on ankles.
Yes.
An important Canadian science lesson. Fire can't exist on angled surfaces.
Yes, fire abhors an incline.
If you live inside a teepee, you are absolutely safe from fire.
I don't know, the ground inside a teepee is still flat. The ground can be on fire, but the rest of the teepee cannot.
Yes, but if the fire isn't inside the teepee, you're safe.
I love the airtime I get on this.
Yes.
Let's see. That's the spider, which we've already
Gotten everything from.
Yes. I'll kill you again just because. No, I can't get that. Okay.
That's just a little too low.
Nope, not the right direction.
Right in the face. Into the bread room.
Yep.
I do like the little graphic of the arrows. Dunk.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, go through this door.
Yes. So yes, that's what those statues do.
Yes, the statues are totally enemies. It is entirely possible to go through this entire game without ever seeing them ever act, because they are real easy to kill before they start moving.
And another heart piece.
Woo! And a switch.
Yes. Say, I wonder if I can do this. Yep, totally can.
Yes, you can switch well.
You just gotta clench your core muscles real hard. And then reach down and equip your magic item.
So as you can see, that
Yeah,
switch.
that switch turns off the crushers.
Ah, okay.
So you can not worry about that one crusher as you go up here and ignore the rest of this area's existence.
Yep.
It's the off
Because
switch.
we are basically done.
Yes, short of the bugs, which I forgot about, but I'm not going to worry about it because it's not like we're playing the game.
No.
I mean, they are actually useful in general. Some of the ones around here are kind of bullshit.
What do the bugs do?
So there's a guy in another area that you turn the bugs into for items. Like, the first thing you pick up, I think, is more bellflowers.
Yes, I think it's like 5 bugs gets you another 2 bellflowers. Something like that.
So I believe it is... No, it's the other side.
Yeah.
Yep. So there's one of the bugs is.
Huh.
By the way, if you're looking for all the bugs, go look up a guide. You're not going to find them.
Don't try and figure them out on your own. Some of them are complete bullshit.
Yeah.
So weirdly, everything about the Cinder area, except for the boss, is bullshit.
Basically.
Okay.
Sort of. It's... There's no witches, at least. The second area, Car City proper, which has the witches, is probably the most difficult enemy when it just comes to normal enemies. Just simply because the witches...
Yeah, the witches are more difficult. I just hate the lantern people more.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure the fire fields are supposed to go away over time. I think it's a glitch that sometimes they just don't.
I don't think I've ever seen them go away, but they're easy enough to dodge at the same time. You know they're going to be there.
Yeah, but sometimes if you're rushing through, you don't notice them.
Let's see, what time is it?
Quarter past 9.
Okay.
You have enough time to play a bit more.
Yes.
I mean, we can technically play all the way till like 10 o'clock. We just usually stop at 9:30 because it usually reach a good stopping point.
Yes. There. Oh, right, there's that thing I didn't do. Air dodge is also kind of useful for those things anyways.
Yeah, again, air dodge, just like the regular dodge, is iframes, so you can get through enemies while doing it.
Boulder, yes, which does not hit you. Not that really matters. Okay, so one other thing about this room where you defeat the mini-boss. I didn't go in this direction, which has this NPC to talk to. That's literally all she
Oh,
says.
you should be.
But if you go up this way, it actually leads back around to the area where you get to Labella. That was previously blocked off. I think over here or something.
Something like that.
Yeah. If I remember. Now for the underwater segment. Other than the slow movement, that's not really enough, by the way.
Yeah. Technically has slowed movement. It's not actually that much slower than normal.
It helps that you can do jumps and dashes at normal speed anyway, so...
Yes.
Also, I think you can just keep jumping.
Yes, if you just keep jumping, you swim upwards.
We're now done with the underwater segment.
Those are the vents.
Alright.
Cutscene.
Yes.
How's it going?
Still have that jerk shot. Fully explain yourself.
I'm Kaho. I'm from Canada.
We'll find safety in this region, full of skulls in the background, you say.
Yep. Of the bone architecture with a clear sign.
Subterranean grove.
Personal space, jeez.
You always jump to the right whenever you talk to someone.
Yes, no matter what.
Except when you jump to the left, I'm not entirely sure how this works.
I
Just jump to the left.
think it's a specifically like a spacing thing, depending on where you are. But
Yeah.
it's honestly kind of hard to be far enough to the left for it to be a jump left.
Yeah.
Storm.
Let's see. We can buy that. We absolutely cannot buy the Necklace Sacrifice, which is unfortunate because I actually want that one.
Yes. Necklace of Sacrifice is, in fact, danger mode.
Yes, which is great
Which
for
is
fighting
gross.
buff.
Yeah, gross when you have tainted missives.
Yes. That was increases visibility in dark areas. Sure.
Yeah, may as well just get it.
It's a save point. And I don't remember exactly how to go about this place. Other than that, these things are actually annoying.
Yes.
Precisely for that reason. Ah. Screw. I think this is... Yes, that is a wall.
Yeah.
Certainly not a destructible wall. Alright, let's try that room again with less suck.
Yeah, so those sides come out a lot faster than you think they do.
Yes.
It's like the first issue there.
I think first and only issue, because from what I remember, I think they are...
The second issue about the sides is that they do hit you on the return if you're not paying attention.
Does that too, yes. That is the only room they're in.
I think they're in one other room. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, like I said, he does actually show back up again. But it's actually easy to miss him because you don't actually have to talk to him. I must save the rest of the snorks.
I wonder how I save him.
Killing a boss.
No.
Is this as stupid as I think it was? No, I have dropped him above. Okay.
Yeah, you have to drop him above.
And it's something like that, yeah. It's been so long, I've completely forgotten how to do this area. Nope.
Yeah, no, you don't need to actually air dash there.
No, but I... Down. Okay, that was the opposite of what I was trying to do. And we'll flex screens, and we're good. Okay.
They forgot you existed.
Yep. Except when they didn't.
Well, I mean, you got close enough to that one.
Yeah, that's from the treasure chest, because I technically did that when they were dead.
Yes.
So if I get this right...
I mean, it's pointless, but...
He's showing off.
Yep. Broken save point. Oh, sure, first. Why can't I jump up there? Ah. Right.
You come back here a lot.
What are you talking about? This first time I'm here.
Yeah, sure. You're telling yourself that. Face first into the crotch of danger. That's how Canadians roll.
I have no idea where the water that I was previously walking in went. Ah, forgot the jump part.
That's what happens when you got fancy. Oh, hey, first time, huh?
Too many fucking hit points.
Yeah, like I said, it gets you on the return, which can be annoying if you are stuck in attack animations.
Yes. And it's like fucking enormous
Yes.
for some fucking reason.
It's a giant ass scythe.
Precisely short enough.
No, you cannot actually double jump up there. I mean, it works.
There, now I win, eh?
Right, this water section.
Yeah.
If you want alternative...
Other signs you were not playing a Dark Souls game. That chest was not, in fact, a mimic.
Yes. In case you're wondering, I'm basically wandering around at random.
I kind of figured.
I don't actually remember where I'm going here. This is the area I spent the least time in. It didn't help the fact that I also one-shot the boss.
The boss of this area is not hard.
I think in this zone in particular, her lantern never leaves fire for whatever reason. I mean, this would be annoying if there were like spikes or anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly just a...
And again,
mildly annoying timing challenge.
that's right, arrows.
Any hit stuns them.
Well, especially fire arrows. I think it might actually be the fire on that.
It might be the fire that stuns them.
Yeah.
I don't know, I pretty much always had the sensory here regardless, because why would you ever not?
I don't even want to bother this way. Okay, there's something about this room.
I don't remember.
Near do I.
Right there, there's apparently...
there's apparently a heart somewhere in here.
Yeah, heart piece somewhere in here.
Oh, I'd have to look this one up.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is. Never mind. Or I'd have to hit the right wall.
So the queen has taken tips from Dracula in how to hide her stuff?
Pretty much.
Yes. That aside, let's actually, like, I don't know, find a destination of some sort.
I mean, we can get to a save point and wrap up, honestly, if we want to.
Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea.
About our usual time.
Yes. Let's see, so either across this room...
Which is not actually as hard as it seems.
Especially with an air dash. You're not dead enough. You can absolutely do that jump without the air dash.
There's a thing down.
Yes, there is.
There you go.
Ah, that's... yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know how this works now.
I need to fool him into...
Yep. There you go.
Yeah. Thank you, my friend. I reward you with death.
And now you've got a shortcut back to here.
Ah!
So we'll go ahead and save and call it there for the evening. Thank you all for joining us. This has been Momodora Reverie Under the Moonlight. If this seems interesting, this game is pretty much always dirt cheap on Steam and goes on sale all the time. In addition to that, the other 3 Momodora games, as I recall, are actually just completely free.
1 and 2 are free. The third one is $1.
Yeah, something like that. So it's a really good series. I do really recommend them if you're into this kind of game. But yeah, join us next week. We'll be playing something, but same typical time, 7 Pacific. So again, thank you all for joining us. I've been Josh Bograt.
I've been Vincent, still Vincent.
I've been Dan, the Krampus.
And hopefully next week Shiv will be feeling alright and will be joining us. So have a good one, everyone.